some corn. We figured that you didn't need to watch 7 to 10 minutes of corn cooking on the stove. But just to do that, I did the same spray, the avocado oil spray. You can totally do an olive oil spray. Again, just staying away from the canola or vegetable oils and trying to get a little bit more of those mono and polyunsaturated fats where and when we can. So I sprayed the corn as well as the skillet with the avocado oil because that's just what we're using today. And you know, in retrospect, I will say if you have a grill, totally use it for the corn. You know, because we're inside today, we just had the pan. I do wish I microwaved it. I think that would have made it a little bit quicker, but nevertheless, the corn is done. So again, just a little bit of that olive oil, 7 to 10 minutes, medium to high heat, making sure that you're rotating it so you can see it gets blackened a little bit of everywhere. And then we're going to make a healthier version of the Mexican street corn, like I mentioned. So for that, usually there is like sour cream, mayonnaise, lots of cheese. We're gonna focus a little bit more on the vegetables and the lime juice with a little bit of cheese and a little bit of mayonnaise to still give it that feel. So in a mixing bowl, 1 juice from a lime. We're going to do about 3 tablespoons of cilantro. This is minced garlic from 1 clove of garlic. This is 1 teaspoon chili powder, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon paprika. And then we got 1/3 cup of cojita cheese. And then about 2 tablespoons of a mayonnaise. And again, it's using that same mayonnaise from before. We're just gonna put that in here. We're gonna stir this up. We will stir that up. And just take these out of the way. And then we will layer it on our corn. So a lot of times I see this recipe at like upscale Mexican restaurants, and it tastes really good. It's like such a nice treat. And finally I decided to do this at home, and it honestly came out really well. And the whole idea here with this recipe today is to give you that feel of going out to like your favorite Mexican restaurant or Hispanic restaurant, but doing it here at home, doing it while supporting local business like the Danbury's Farmers Market, and doing it in a way, again, that just promotes a little bit more nutrition than if you were out. So we are just going to take our brush and sort of layer it on like this. Now, it would be nice if we had pegs and we could do it through some side, on all the sides of the corn, but you know, you will definitely get the feel of it just by doing one side. Corn, again, is another one of those foods really high in fiber, primarily insoluble fiber, which means that it helps with stool regulation and really helps clear out your intestines. And corn also just great source of energy too. Okay, so this also, I only made 2 ears of corn, but the recipe that I used called for 6 ears. So as you can see, I've got quite a bit of the sauce left over. So if you were making this for a party, that's just enough. The recipe that I used is enough for about 6 ears of corn. Okay, last but not least, we are going to make the homemade pico. As you can see, we have already chopped up about 4 to 5 medium-sized tomatoes. Now you can really use, as I mentioned in the previous video, you can use any sort of tomato. I encourage you to mix and match. Now is the time to go back in your fridge and look at what sort of ingredients or vegetables may be going bad a little bit. So we just did heirloom tomatoes. we are going to, we chopped up about 1.5 peppers. Now this isn't part of the recipe, but we peeked in our fridge. We saw that, you know, we had these peppers, and what better way to increase some of our vegetables. So I'm really just gonna eyeball this. This was about 1.5 peppers chopped up total. So I'm gonna eyeball this. And again, just another way to get a little bit more vitamin C, more nutrition throughout this recipe. Now, I totally don't throw these out. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of leftover ingredients. I definitely encourage you to save them and make them into, you know, maybe another salad or another recipe for later on. This is about 1.5 jalapenos. I like my salsa or pico a little bit more spicy, so that's why I did 1.5. This is 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. I'm gonna throw that in there. Again, I love a little bit of spice. This is half of a medium white onion. I like white, it's a little bit more spicy, a little bit more like crunch. If you do not like white onion, totally fine. You can do red onion as well. This is 1 juice of a lime. And this is 3 tablespoons of cilantro. So we are going to mix that up. And if you want to keep this a low sodium recipe, if you heard, you know, everything that we have been doing today is low sodium. I have not, up until this point, I have not added any sort of salt. These are about 15 milligrams. You're gonna get a little bit in your mayonnaise, a little bit of sodium in that cheese, but other than that, this is a relatively low sodium. So if you are on like a DASH diet, Mediterranean diet, or looking to lower your blood pressure, or maybe have some sort of cardiovascular issue or disease, this is also a totally cardiovascular, heart healthy recipe. All right, so lastly, we are just going to top our tacos with this pico. Just do whatever amount looks good to you. Serve with the corn, which I will plate in just 1 second. And you are ready to go.